On Kochie's Business Builders, do you pay yourself a salary? Learn why it's a good idea for small business owners to bring home a wage so you're not slugged at tax time. Also, how Patagonia built a global clothing brand while staying true to its core values. And could this be what the future looks like? Step inside a shroom room and find out how to feed your family for less. Hello and welcome to Kochie's Business Builders. Have you started a small business but are not paying yourself a salary? Maybe you find yourself dipping into the till when times get tight. Well, that's a bad idea. And we're about to tell you why paying yourself at the same time as your staff is the best way forward. This week, we meet the owner of a cake shop who wants to structure her business plan so she can start bringing in a regular wage. Gillian Butler is in her element. She's the owner of Jillians Cakery, allowing her to live out her dream of baking cakes and spreading the joy of eating them. But while she doesn't need help in the kitchen, her business plan could do with some help.
So Jillian, thanks for having me here today. Can you tell me how Gillians Cakery came about?
We've been going now for about 3.5 years and I absolutely love it. It's my passion. I love being in the neighbourhood that we're in Surrey Hills, New South Wales. It's a wonderful environment to be in. Everybody's very friendly. And I have come to the point where I'm doing really great at the business side. However, I'm not actually bringing in my own salary.
So you don't pay yourself a salary. Tell me, how is that impacting your home and your family life?
By not paying myself a salary, it makes everything have to rely on my husband's salary. And while we're okay for the moment, it's getting to the point now where we're going to start having to dip into savings if I don't start paying myself. So I take very little from the company because I want to be able to reinvest it, and because it's something that I absolutely love, I don't mind doing that. But now it's, getting to the point where I need to.
So tell me, what does a day at Gillians Cakery entail?
Well, the alarm goes off at 5:30. I jump up, quickly get in the car to go at 6 o'clock and be here by 6:30. Get everything ready for the opening at 7:30, and from 7:30 onwards, it's go, go, go. I'm always running to and fro. I can be a barista for 1 minute, a customer service representative, I'm a cleaner, a busboy, a payroll person. I pretty much do every job every day, and I run around until about 4 o'clock when the cafe closes. Get home at about 5 o'clock, pick up my son, we come home, prepare dinner, and after we put my son to bed, I'll do some paperwork, answer emails, so it's constant.
Yeah, so do you have any time off at all? So holidays, school holidays, your own family holidays?
Well, I try very hard to have a work-life family balance, because I do think it's important for us as a family and also for myself. So we are closed on Sundays. That's a conscious decision that we make in business as well. We know that it's going to add a little bit of a pinch to the bottom line, but that's a conscious decision that we make.
So to determine how to pay, where do you start? There's two things we need to look at. Number one is you want to determine what is your household income. So what's the bare minimum you need? So you said you're relying on your husband a bit at the moment. That is obviously going to be tough. But you also need to look at the business, and it needs cash flow for the lifeblood. So there's a bit of a mix there. I would suggest starting with what is the bare minimum that you need, because you can always review and bump it up over time. What you don't want to do is take too much, starve the business, and then have to put money back in. That defeats the whole purpose.
A really important point there. Always start with the bare minimum you need in your pocket, and you can always work your way up when business conditions improve. Coming up, how Gillian and other owners can work out exactly how much to pay themselves. Do you have a smart speaker in your home or office? According to a recent article by NAB, asking our phones and devices for information isn't only make our home smarter, it's now changing the way we communicate with every business in Australia. It's estimated by next year, Almost 1 in 3 search sessions will be done without a screen. So how do you ensure your business doesn't get left behind? Experts say the first priority for business owners to ensure their website and digital assets are voice ready. To use voice effectively, business owners should be thinking about what their customers will find most useful. Furthermore, experts recommend putting yourself in your customers' shoes. Think about what they'll be searching for aside from general directions, opening hours and contact details. To see how voice search might impact your small business, visit nab.com.au/insights.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donna Marcel, co-founder of the Dermatonic Skincare range, and I love small business.
You're watching Kochie's Business Builders. Today we're talking to a small business owner who hasn't been paying herself a salary. Gillian Butler left her cushy 9-to-5 corporate job 4 years ago to start a cake shop. And while she loves what she does, Gillian is really feeling the financial strain. So today, we're helping her figure out a plan to bring home the dough.
So Brad, I started Jillians Cakery with the vision of being able to bring my beautiful cakes to the people of Sydney. How important is it that I pay myself a salary?
It's very important that you pay yourself a salary. I mean, your team get paid a salary. If you worked a corporate job or for someone else, you get paid a salary. So why don't you pay yourself a salary? It's a bit of a core fundamental. Like you were saying, you have Sundays off and you have public holidays off. You should also be paying yourself some sort of a salary.
So how do I know how much to pay myself?
Right, so if you have a look at your personal budget, your household income, that's going to give you a good indicator. You said you're relying on your husband's wage and it's putting a bit of a pinch on him. What we want to look at is what is that pinch? What is that buffer? And it might just be small at the start, but the point with paying yourself is get started, start with something small, and it is a principle of running the business. Get in the habit of it. Remember, the business is here to serve you. I know you love it and they're great cakes, but it's to serve you. So don't let it turn the other way around and you become a slave to it. This is a good principle to put in place.
And how do I know how regularly I should be paying myself? Should I pay myself at the same time as my staff get paid, or should I just do it in a lump sum or a little bit every day?
Yeah, I would suggest paying yourself when your staff get paid. I mean, it just brings that whole culture together. Instead of you as the boss and everyone else, start to do a lot of things together in the business. So paying yourself regularly, coming up with an amount, you can start to incorporate some of the tax things like withholding some tax and paying yourself super. But then when you get closer to the end of the year, around April and May, that's a good time to check in with your accountant because they might have some great strategies, maybe to make yourself look a bit better if you wanted to, say, buy an investment property, or how to trim back the tax you're going to pay.
And speaking about tax, how do I know that I'm actually being tax efficient?
Right, so starting out drawing a small wage, there's going to be minimal amount of tax payable on it. Then along the way, what you're going to be doing is working with your accountant if you want to make changes, because they're going to know far more about this than any small business owner. So they can maybe help you avoid some pitfalls or share some strategies so you are being efficient and you don't cop a massive tax bill by surprise at the end of the year that you could have easily avoided by picking up the phone and having a quick meeting with your accountant.
On from that, what are some of the pitfalls or the mistakes that small businesses make, and how can I avoid making those?
So there's mainly two big ones. People come from a corporate job and they're used to a big salary. So they just start paying themselves that big salary, but it's just not going to survive. The business is going to run out of money and you're going to find yourself in hot water. The other thing that they do is they just start taking drawings from the business. So they don't take a proper wage, put their hand in the till, I need this much money this week, I need this much money that week. So you can't keep track of what you've done, but the business has got this lumpy cash flow because someone keeps putting their hand in the till. So again, it's working with your accountant to determine where do we start, and then depending on the structure of your business, some people are companies, some run through a trust, some are something a little bit more simple. There's a whole lot of different rules that apply to all of them. So you've been voted some of Sydney's best cakes. So tell me, what does the future hold for Gillians Cakery?
I would love to be able to take Jillians Cakery around the Sydney Metroplex and bring old cakes to as many people as I can.
Because we all need definitely more cake in our system every day, don't we?
We do. Life is sweeter with cake, of course.
It sure is. Now, when it comes to paying yourself a salary, start small, sit down with your accountant and figure out the bare minimum you need to bring home each week. It's better to have a small wage each week rather than dipping into the till when you get desperate. It will also protect you at tax time. Now to pillars of success, helping to build solid foundations for your small business. This week, we're focusing on sustainability.
This week's pillar of success is all about the dollars and cents of sustainability. Sustainability isn't only for big business. In fact, the benefits apply just as much to smaller businesses. The principle of saving money and even earning it whilst having a positive environmental impact apply all the same. It can appear daunting with less resources and reduced leverage to choose sustainable suppliers. It may appear that the odds are against you. And while that's true in some cases, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't start and reap the rewards of the low-hanging fruit now. Start by changing your behavior on relatively simple things. Let's use an example. Consider the business and environmental benefits from turning off all your lights every evening. Lighting is one of the single biggest electricity uses in buildings and makes up the majority of your electricity bills. Many small businesses leave their lights on during the evening. And for what? All the while the electricity generated to keep them on has a negative impact on the environment. Let's use another example, going paperless. We live in a digital age, yet so many companies pay money for paper, for printing. Paper is produced from a treasured natural resource, timber. And to be honest, it just makes sense to go digital. There are many other examples of how businesses can save operating costs by becoming more sustainably focused. Change your behavior for just 1 month. You'll be surprised at the savings you can accumulate.
Still to come, the man on a mission to create urban mushroom farms. You won't believe how he's growing them. And the business with a strong focus on social responsibility. We think it's time to shine a light on the businesses making an impact, locally, nationally and globally. Together with our friends at Google, we're putting together Kochie's Business Builders Power List. To check out more and keep up to date, head to our website.
I'm Rick Ridgway, the Vice President of Public Engagement at the outdoor apparel company Patagonia. And our 3 tips for business success are, number 1, be transparent. Not just transparent, but radically transparent. To be willing to state publicly what you're doing good, and more importantly, what you're doing bad. Tip number 2, know your supply chain. Map your supply chain. Not just your contracted suppliers, tier 1. Map it all the way through, right through to materials. Only if you map your supply chain can you know your supply chain. Only if you know your supply chain can you manage your supply chain. Tip number 3, shared value. Commit to returning value not just to your shareholders, but your stakeholders. Have a higher purpose. Be in business to provide value to other people who your business affects globally, both to reduce environmental impact and to increase social justice. And guess what? All those things will create enormous business value. We know because we are very successful. We've made those 3 commitments, and every year we're doing better and better financially. Thanks very much.
Can you go without your morning coffee? I know I can't. But have you ever wondered what happens to all those leftover coffee grounds? Most end up in landfill. But an Aussie biotechnology company is trying to change all that. They're using coffee grounds to grow gourmet mushrooms and creating new attitudes to food production along the way.
The life cycle started 3 years ago. I was working with my good friend in the mines in Western Australia with Julian, and we really wanted to solve an issue that was a disconnection to people growing their own food. And that really gave birth to a mushroom company that enabled us to grow produce and sell to local restaurants and farmers markets and grow off coffee waste, which is a harmful material that goes to waste into landfill. I think that we get very complacent with the ability to get food from the supermarket, and this really removes our connection to where it's grown and how it's grown, why it's good for us, etc., etc. We often find that when people start growing their own food, and particularly mushrooms, they find a new attachment to nature and a meaningful connection to where their food comes from. Mushrooms conveniently can be grown in 2 weeks, so there's a short period that you need to tend to your crop, essentially. It also can be grown by people that have little to no experience in growing mushrooms. Learning how to grow mushrooms, although there are many challenges, can be done if you've got the right attitude to learn. Beyond our fresh mushroom supply, we've extended into growing medicinal mushrooms here in Byron Bay, and we produce liquid extracts that support people's health, and a variety of other medicinal mushroom products that, such as mushroom coffee, mushroom protein. The community's responded fantastic to the mushrooms that we sell at the farmers market every Thursday morning, and also on Saturday morning in a neighbouring town. Byron Bay offers a very humid climate. It's traditionally got a lot of native species of mushrooms growing in the area, and to bring oyster mushrooms to the dinner plates and the restaurants around the area has been well adopted. Australia is a very vast climate, so we're dealing with all kinds of conditions for growing mushrooms, and we've very quickly learned that it's not a one-size-fits-all, and custom changes are required in our shroom rooms to optimise their performance in different parts of Australia. There's many models of shroom rooms that people can get, and the most common one is the family model, whereby it can sit on a balcony or a small space around the home, and you can grow up to 3 kilos of mushrooms a week, and grow for your own family, sell to your neighbours, share produce and things like that. That can be set up generally within 4 weeks from coming on board. It also gives the growers access to distributing our retail range and making an income through distributing our grow kits and our mushroom coffees and our liquid extracts as well. We're still very much a startup company that is innovating and with the support of our growers are improving every day. We have recently just started distributing our Australian grown products into America, and we have a large opportunity internationally, as we are the only Australian company that grows these medicinal mushrooms in the way that we do and distribute in the way we do.
Who knew mushrooms could be so versatile? It's a great story, isn't it? Up next, word on the street. We ask small business owners what they really think. It's time for Word on the Street, helping to answer some of your biggest questions. This week we asked, what's your greatest fear as a business owner?
Failure. Yeah, my greatest fear is failure. Yeah, 100%. There's no more of a greater fear than that.
My greatest fear as a business owner would have to be, I guess, people not loving my product anymore. I guess that's the thing that I'm putting out into the world. And if people no longer want it or need it, I'd be pretty sad.
My biggest fear is being stagnant and being unable to make decisions. And so I think the way to combat that is by being prepared and being informed.
My greatest fear as a small business owner is probably watching it stop growing.
Greatest fear that any business owner would face is basically not being able to continue with your business.
I create a work environment that my team doesn't love to come in and work in every day. You know, most people say the customer comes first. I really believe that your employees come first, because if you look after them, they're going to look after your customers.
Coming up this week on Ask Kochie.
Hi, Kochie. My name's Jill Saunders. I've got a business called Beauty and the Bees down in Hobart, beautiful Tasmania, as you can see behind us here. I pioneered plastic-free skincare in Australia, natural skincare, 26 years ago. But we're just about to go for a big rebrand, so we're hoping you can give us some advice how to keep our loyal customers who've been with us for that period of time. We've actually been selling on the internet for 23 years. We pioneered websites in Tasmania because I knew the future was mail order. So we want to keep those customers with us and we want to take them on this journey. So I'm hoping you can advise us as to how we can do that. That's really important to us. So looking forward to your tips and tricks. Thanks again.
Don't miss that Facebook Live discussion on Tuesday from 12:30 Eastern. And of course, feel free to throw me any live questions you might have as well. Coming up next week, getting down to business basics, what you need to know. And don't forget to watch our other show, Bricks and Clicks, where we transform businesses into e-commerce success stories. If you want to sign up for the course, head to the website, bricksclicks.com.au. See you next week for more Kochie's Business Builders.